get started? Why don't we get started? Welcome, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Saturday, January 18th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread for today? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are our 7 of Wands in its reversal, in combination with our 10 of Swords in its upright. So let's talk about this a little bit, because I know what you're about to say to me, or I know what you should be pointing out. If you take a look at our most recent reading, what was the final card that we finished our spread on? It was the 10 of Swords in its reversal. So I'm going to keep saying this again. All right. We are currently going through a Mars retrograde, which means what is happening right now in the space of confidence. It's going up and down and up and down and up and down. I'm going to keep saying this. It's going to be like this until about February 23rd. But what do we keep saying during these retrograde cycles? Courage is what we do when confidence is waning. Courage and confidence do not live in the same space. They look very similar, but they're very different things. Now is a time to have energetic courage, setting one's intention, working in that space right now. And a lot of this is being amplified with this shift into Pluto coming into Aquarius, right? Because what did we experience a lot with that Pluto in Capricorn energy? The sense or the space of coming back into what feels recognizable, right? Pluto does not live in Capricorn anymore. Like, a lot of that feeling of what is recognizable is no longer working to a certain extent. It's requiring something energetically new. It requires a new way of perceiving things. It requires different aspects of the self, right? And again, it brings forth a lot of that space of identifying what it feels like when we feel a calling, right? When we feel energetically called to something. When we feel energetically called to something, that is often an articulation of an internal manifestation goal that we are bringing forth, right? Now, one of the things that's very intriguing is some of that space that we often navigate. It can be energetically non-ideal, right? Well, and we've been talking a lot about this right now, that a lot of that shift that we're experiencing right now as it relates to manifestation goals has to do with that Pluto and Capricorn energy, which is the tangibility of trying to reach for something, right? Just that desire to reach for something, but not recognizing that as you reach for a manifestation goal, it changes you, right? You become something different. This is what we experience in every step of our growth cycles. A lot of this work that we see that is coming like towards us right now during this Pluto in Aquarius says that the amplification and the articulation of a good manifestation isn't just looking at where you desire to be and trying to reach that destination at all energetic costs, but rather being able to enjoy the journey of the self in the process, recognizing that a manifestation should feel like a procession, right? It shouldn't be like that moment of awfulness. Everything was awful, and then I got the thing that I wanted, and then everything was great. Nothing's ever like that. And that's why we often reach those moments that we try to reach for a manifestation goal, and then we get it, and we go, why don't I feel different? Well, of course, you wouldn't feel different, because if that was something that was bringing you forth in that way, and you haven't allowed yourself to move into that feeling, then it's always creating that space of lack. So there's a lot of this, it's like letting go of the energetic hoarding feeling, right? That feeling of trying to fill something with stuff, like trying to fill something with manifestation goals, rather recognizing who you aspire and desire to be, and looking at the manifestation as a way to find yourself in the process. Now, a lot of this right now is being brought to the fold, because I'm telling you even now, this Cancer full moon was a real doozy, in relationality to the emotional space. I see a lot of energy right now that's feeling like, I want to describe like it was a wolf moon. It howls, right? And where was a lot of that emotionality coming from? The past, right? Heavy nostalgia, recognizing and identifying that the emotions always live in the past to a certain extent. But what is fortifying and amplifying when we understand our energetic destination, when we're moving with intentionality, we hold space for the emotions, right? That doesn't mean that we ignore the emotions, but we recognize and identify what are the emotions that we honor because something felt like we had a lot of feeling towards it, versus something that feels like it's an energetic alignment to us. And a lot of that keeps on coming through right now as those spaces and places wherein the higher self and the energetic ego say to themselves, on this we can agree, right? Threading that needle, moving in the directionality of both being able, and this is what we mean by following your bliss. Following your bliss doesn't just mean moving in towards what feels good. That's not bliss. Bliss is being able to be in that moment where you know that something is good for you and is something that you energetically desire, right? It's coordinates, right? And that's a difference between a destination versus coordinates, right? A destination is a singular location on a map. A coordinate is the merging of two energetic ideals that bring you into the place that you need to be. So looking towards the self as the coordinates and identifying what the higher self desires for the self and what the energetic ego also desires. There's a lot of that work in the space of refinement right now. And this is why we see so much of this energy is coming into warrior energy. This is why I see that so many of these partnerships that are forming during this time are going to be so strong. Because these are not the energies that are moving towards one another because it feels good. These are the energies that feel the sense of like that shaking, a lot of that nostalgia from the past, but it did not alter or affect their direction, right? I keep on hearing this energy and separation saying, make no mistake. I know the difference between holding space for an energetic feeling versus knowing the direction that I'm moving towards, right? That's some very heavy energy. That's like a very deep lesson that we see that is occurring right now for a lot of that energy and separation. And it's not easy because I see even now that a lot of that energy is finding the courage to move forward because they understand and recognize that in doing so, they reach that point of energetic completion. A lot of karmic cycles that are closing at this time. So even here we see that there's some very heavy work that's happening right now for the energy and separation, but that's why these partnerships that are forming between this Mars retrograde are the warrior partnerships. They're the Aries partnerships because they're the energies that are finding that courage not outside of the self because Mars is on vacation. They're finding it within. Masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now. Maturation. This is the energy that I keep on seeing. The grief and exaltation of recognizing the growth of the soul, right? Because it's those moments that we reach. The thing about a maturation point is it's not conditional on choice. It's not conditional on choice. Couldn't change the feeling if they tried. There's a lot of this energy coming into divine union right now, heavy in that Capricorn energy, healing and working on something since the summer. This is the energy that feels, and I want to say this, it's like there's a little bit of this like invincibility that I see because the invincibility that I'm seeing for a lot of the energy coming into divine union is recognizing that they repaired something with their own two hands. And that's the energy that says that the ability, so long as they continue to move towards one another and make that energetic choice, there's nothing that they are not capable of fixing, right? So there's something very beautiful there, but there's also something very bittersweet because this is a lot of the energy that like that sense of commitment is very Capricorn focused. Like this is the energy that says, the work is heavy. But again, that's the gift that they bring to one another, because that's the energy that says, I carry that weight with you. While for masculine and feminine deep in divine union right now, I just keep seeing that a lot of this energy deep within divine union is working in facilitating those spaces or places wherein they've just recognized and identified that energetic power of choice to a certain extent. Why are we seeing this so much right now for a lot of the energy right now deep within divine union? Because for a lot of that energy coming into divine union, navigating that space, it's not that it's ideal, but the energy deep within divine union doesn't build into the place of something feeling ideal. If something isn't ideal, all it takes is to have an ideal, because then you look at what isn't serving you and say, I guess my work's cut out for me. Center card in our 5-card spread for today. A lot of heaviness here. A lot of emotionality. We got some heavy sword energy out on the table today. But that sense, right? That I keep on getting sacred, working through sacred pain, working through sacred rage, right? That is the difference between moving from a place of, I want to say, the ego, right? Moving from that place that creates that uptick in us, versus coming into that space or place wherein we identify something that energetically hurts, because it allows ourselves to see ourselves with a deeper sense of clarity. So for a lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union, facilitating and acting upon those spaces, working to recognize and identify that, this is what feels so energetically fundamental, because in that space of building into what feels like it is fundamental, this is the energy that says, again, that feeling, it's like the fuel of the self, and it's building into that space of being able to navigate that grief together, working in that context together, being able to heal together. And I just keep seeing a lot of those plans changing. And this brings us to a lot of the energy coming into divine union, because for a lot of the energy right now coming into divine union, that same space of navigating that weight, working through that uncertainty together, this is what is fortifying a lot of those energetic partnerships. Now, for masculine and feminine in separation right now, this is why I see that this energy in separation, moving through their own doubts and fears. For a lot of this energy in separation right now, I keep seeing this feels like shadow work. This feels like trying to come out of separation, feels like shadow work. Feminine, confronting their own wounds of trust. Masculine, confronting their own worries about authenticity. But even in that space, this isn't the energy, because it does it, they're not, this is the energy that follows their bliss by understanding that they have to do the hard part first, right? And this is the energy that I want to say even now. There's energy in separation that says, I'm following my bliss, but they're following their bliss right now through gritted teeth, because that's the type of energy that it's taking right now to be able to find the bliss. Because this isn't the energy that just exists in the wish. This is the energy that says, I understand that if I want to move towards what is for me, I have to do something that is energetically difficult in the process. Continuing to get clarification, our 4th and 5th cards in our 5-card spread for today. We have here our 2 of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our 8 of Wands in its upright. A lot of navigating in that space of choice here. A lot of working and facilitating upon making that energetic choice and allowing for a lot of that guidance point to drive us forward at this time. Now, I just keep seeing that a lot of this work right now, that point of recognizing, right? This is the energy that sees one another in separation and sees that level of consistency, sees that level of rigor, sees that energetic fortitude, right? And this is a lot of that energy that feels the weight of that conviction and that commitment specifically and particularly, because this is the energy that recognizes how sometimes to be able to move towards one another with normality, the amount that it takes, it's qualitative, right? It's like this is the energy that's giving each other the gift of consistency through that process. And it's that consistency that is creating a lot of these new partnerships, right? And so I just keep seeing that a lot of this energy that like is coming together during this time, there's almost no delay. They're just like hitting the ground running, right? While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, a lot of this work that I'm seeing right now coming into divine union, this is the energy that like I just want to show you these cards because this is so much of that Capricorn energy, because this is the Capricorn energy that says the reason I show you I love you is not because it's easy. It's because it's hard. They're doing the hard work for each other. Does that mean that they're saying to each other, loving you is hard? No. This is the energy that's coming towards one another and saying, I'm able to do hard things for you. I'm able to discover new reserves of strength inside of myself for you, because this is the energy that says in the journey, like the energy that says it's hard, but it doesn't say that it's hard, meaning it's moving them in a direction oppositional to the one that they desire to go towards. This is the energy that says you bring me forth to find myself, because with you I'm able to do that hard work. We're doing it energetically together. So there's a lot of this energy I see coming into divine union right now that's like really heavy on the thick and thin, because they already went through the thick. Now it feels like things are moving more into the thin, but like even that, like that is like new territory. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, I just keep seeing that for a lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union, like I want to say all like all engines. Like it's just like it's like firing at all engines. Why? Because we see that for a lot of this energy right now, there's something about this space that creates, I just see clarity and focus, right? And this is what we were talking about by getting kind of like, what's interesting about this is, and this is what I see. This is, I told you, like a lot of that volatility in confidence, working in that space of recognizing the volatility of confidence. It feels like it's a new energetic reality. This is what we expected would be happening leading into and up to that February, like this Mars retrograde. So this is the energy that's getting you more comfortable operating in a space where there isn't a lot of confidence in relationality to what is occurring, right? Not changing one's own trajectory in the process. Continuing to get clarification between our 7 of Wands in its reversal in combination with our 10 of Swords in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our King of Swords. I like this because, you know, there's a lot of heavy sword energy here, but do you see how a lot of that, like, do you see how a lot of that frustration, how a lot of that difficulty, what is it doing? It's bringing forth integrity, right? It's bringing forth clarity. It's bringing forth a lot of that focus. And we see this, again, across all of the frequencies right now. And it is having, I want to say, and we haven't drawn the feminine cards yet, but this is especially having a lot of that sense in the masculine. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. I just keep seeing that for a lot of the masculine energy, building into that sense, like I told you, this is what courage feels like, right? Does courage mean that you're absolutely confident? No. So that's not confidence. Courage is not, you don't have courage when you're confident. You don't need courage when you're confident. No. Courage is what you create when there's no confidence, right? Working through the fear, right? So all we keep seeing here to a certain extent is a lot of that energy navigating in that space of finding, I keep on seeing a lot of this energy of the masculine that's on that healing journey. Told you, it feels like heavy shadow work. But what do we mean by shadow work? When we're doing the shadow work of the self, navigating through confidence, right? The vacillating confidence, working through the energetic fear, finding the self in the process. For feminine right now, a lot of that same energy via the applying energetic discernment. And I see even now, this is how a lot of that energy and separation is finding one another. Because for a lot of that energy and separation working in that space, this is why these are warriors that are coming together in partnership at this time. Because this is the feminine that, again, navigates their own fears of trust, navigates their own wounds. Why, how are these the energies that are embodying the qualities and characteristics they feel? No. They're thinking about the ideal counterpart. They're saying, what would my ideal counterpart be doing in a situation like this? For feminine, be like, I have to be brave to be able to find my energetic counterpart, because I need them to be brave for them to be able to find me. And this is the masculine that says the same. A lot of bravery right now in these energetic connections that are forming. A lot of bravery right now in these energetic connections that are forming, right? And a lot of authenticity. Well, for the energy right now coming into divine union, this is a lot of that energy that is being very protective over those partnerships. And again, if they're putting distance away from something that feels like it's not in alignment to them, it's bittersweet. And this is why the energy is learning that there's something about doing so that feels like a new form of compassion, right? Because this is a lot of the energy that when we move deeper into maturation, we understand what feels compassionate doesn't always feel good for the ego, right? Like, and I want to say, if there's situations or circumstances outside of partnership where others are navigating a space of conflict, this is the energy that builds towards one another by saying, the gift that we have with one another is the clarity and integrity that we create for one another. This is why those energies that are moving deeper into partnership right now are the Capricorn partnerships, because they're looking at consistency as the gift of love. While for a lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union, just everything about ideals. And again, the same message. If it's not ideal, that means at least the work is cut out for me. Right? If the situation is not ideal, this is the energy that says, at least we know where to put our time, effort, and energy. Make no mistake is what I hear. Continuing to get clarification between our 10 of Swords and its upright in combination with our 3 of Swords and its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Knight of Swords in its reversal. Now, again, what are we seeing that's happening here? Right? There's that roller coaster. There's that Mars roller coaster, right? Upturn, 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 right? But a lot of that, like I want to say, navigating others' fickleness, navigating others' uncertainty, right? When we build into that pathwork of integrity, we just lay the energetic groundwork. We don't necessarily change our own direction. We set our destination via V. And this is what I mean about the coordinates, right? Working in that space, right? Not just doing what energetically feels good, but following our bliss. And what is our bliss? Our bliss is figuring out what the higher self knows is best and what the ego also desires to move towards. So I just keep seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that right now. This is why those energies in separation are finding one another, because at this moment it's like following their bliss does not feel good, right? It's not the immediate feeling that is driving this energy towards one another, right? I told you, this is the energy that says, I'm following my bliss. I'm following my bliss, like that, like through gritted teeth to a certain extent, right? Because when we're following our bliss, it doesn't often feel blissful. It doesn't often feel blissful. It can feel very difficult, right? Because we're recognizing what we have to confront within the self, right? And I need to stress this. This isn't the energy that feels like they're moving out of character of themselves in the process. This is the energy that feels like they're overcoming their fear, right? And this isn't the energy that runs towards their fear, right? This is the energy that recognizes what is the fear that stands between them and what it is that they know is for them, right? Navigating that space of the self in the process. There's a lot of energy right now. I'm told you, a lot of these partnerships forming right now, the warrior energies. While for masculine and feminine energy, coming into divine union, all of this Capricorn energy. It's not perfect, but it's ours. It's not ideal, but we continue to fix it. This is the energy that navigates a situation where their partnerships are such that they recognize and amplify that the repair that they put into them is the gift that they give to one another, right? That doesn't mean that something's perfect, but this is the energy that sees that perfection is an ideal. So they give forth to it in such a way because this is the act of love. While for masculine and feminine right now, deep within divine union, all of this right here, I just keep seeing that this is the energy that even as they navigate feelings of heaviness, and this is much of the continuation that we saw in the reading yesterday. This is a lot of the energy that says, I'm not going to let a little thing like my feelings stand in the way of what I know my path work is. I'm not going to let a little thing like, I keep on hearing that energy all through the week has been saying just a scratch. It's just a scratch, right? Because this is the energy that, like, again, when we're focused on a purpose, what happens around us, it doesn't move us off of our path work because we recognize the difference between feeling the ego wound, something that wounds our ego, right? Versus something that makes it hard to be able to see ourselves. And so I keep on seeing that there's a lot of energy right now deep within divine union navigating egoic wounds, but not allowing that to change their own direction or not allowing that to change their own trajectory, right? Because there's a lot of this energy that is building into that space of intentionality. And so I see even now that there's a lot of that energy that, and this is the thing, navigating one's own fear, but then finding that point of bravery, because that is what we do when we love something or we love someone. We find the parts of ourselves that we didn't know, we rise into it, right? And that moment of rising into it to a certain extent, I just kind of see, like, I just feel like a lot of that energy within divine union, just standing a little bit straighter every step of the way. Continuing to get clarification between our 3 of Swords in combination with our 2 of Pentacles in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our 10 of Pentacles in its upright. A lot of work right now in navigating from the place of setting the energetic ideal, right? And I just keep saying that when we're working in that capacity or we're working in that fashion, it's never easy. But what do we see that a lot of the energy deep within divine union is doing at this time? For a lot of the energy deep within divine union, when you look around the self and you see things are not energetically ideal, do you do you stop caring? Do you stop trying? Right? Or do you set the energetic standard? Right? And so I feel like even here there's a lot of that energy deep within divine union, working in that space of feeling that responsibility and setting that energetic standard, working in that space, because this is what we do. Like, this is the power of love, right? The power of love is such that when we do so, we don't just do so for the sake of ourselves. We do it for the sake of those around us, right? Because it's that same sense of setting the energetic standard by which we are able to amplify and articulate our own space of energetic compassion. So I just keep on seeing there's a lot of energy right now deep within divine union that is working through energetic hurdles and difficulties by setting the energetic standard. While for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, a lot of that energy coming into divine union right now, this is the energy that looks at the partnership as the energetic standard. These are the energies that say that like, this is the energy that feels both the celebration point in terms of how far they've come, while also navigating the hurdles of how much further they still have to go. Because this is the energy that keeps on saying, I keep seeing that there's a little bit of this, like, I keep on seeing that for some energy right now coming into partnership. There's like a little bit of this isolation energy that we're seeing. And this is, I told you a few weeks ago, we saw this, the energy deep within divine union. So a little bit of that feeling of solitude, like a little bit of that hermit energy that's entering for some of the energy coming into divine union. But this is why some of that energy is being patient at this time, because they're recognizing that like their lives are changing, that those around them are changing, that something about their partnership is such that it's changed their own energetic standards. So these are the energies that feel that sense of their energetic standards changing and recognize that they have matured. Because one of the hallmarks of understanding that we have matured is when we recognize that our standards have changed. And our standards change when our priorities change. So I just keep seeing a lot of that energy feeling good about the fact that they have those energetic priority points and working through those experiences wherein another might not see something the way that they do, right? While for a lot of this energy right now in separation, I just see that energy, like, again, like, this is what I mean. The energy that like says, in order to follow my bliss, I have to face my fear. In order to follow my bliss, I have to face my fear. In order to follow my bliss, I have to face my fear. And this is how they find each other. Continuing to get clarification between our Two of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Eight of Wands in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with the Four of Cups in its upright. I feel like there's a lot of this energy in separation right now, navigating through that sense of choice. And this is the energy that reaffirms their own commitment to themselves and says, I know that the past is not going to repeat because I am not the same person. The past does not repeat if we make different energetic choices. So I see even now a lot of that energy working through that space and feeling the confidence in their choices, because these are not the energies in separation that allow the past or the fear of the past to shape their directions. This is a lot of the energy that looks back at the past that caused those wounds and says, you have no power over me. I'm not going to make decisions based upon my fear. I'm going to follow my energetic bliss and confront my fear in the process, right? Welcome to Pluto and Aquarius. There's no more of this, like, if I don't look at it, maybe it'll go away. While for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, I just keep seeing that for a lot of this energy coming into divine union right now, this is the energy that articulates and loves one another by looking at each other and saying, we are in this because we make the choice to do so. And what's happening right now is this is the energy that has chosen something, made that intentional choice. They literally changed their energetic frequencies to be able to come into partnership. And this is the energy that like worked on doing that so foundationally that now there's something that's becoming inevitable in that process, right? This is what we talk about. It's not faking it until you make it. It's feeling it until you heal it, right? Sometimes it requires you to step out of your comfort zone. This is why this energy continue. Like, these are Capricorn partnerships because they hold the partnership sacredly. Because this is the energy that says we created it with our own two hands. While for a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now, a lot of the energy deep within divine union said, I keep on hearing, if this isn't the energetic standard, I guess it's upon us to set it, right? This is the energy that focuses upon that journey of saying, well, if things are not ideal, I guess we know where we have to put our effort and energy, right? And a lot of that is the amplification of feeling, I keep on seeing a lot of this energy in divine union, having a lot of deep clarity in relationality to who they are, right? And a lot of that work in terms of identifying who they are, right? This is that sense or space of working into that space, because this is the energy that if they feel those wounds in the process of knowing who they are, they go, that's just my ego. That's just my ego. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about them, right? Continuing to get clarification between our King of Swords in its upright in combination with our Knight of Swords in its reversal. And this is the difference right now between masculine and feminine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. I told you, why is this warrior energy right now? Do warriors want to fight? No. Warriors don't want to fight. Warriors don't want to fight. We don't call those who fight warriors. The term, the honorific warrior, is a name we give to someone who has fought, someone who carries the lessons of energetic battle with them. And in that moment or in that modality, when we are able to confront those lessons, we navigate the space of finding courage, right? And this is the gift that we see that these energies in separation are bringing to one another, which is, again, that sense of confidence, right? That sense of clarity. And it doesn't feel like that. It feels like quite the opposite. Masculine feels vulnerable as they approach feminine from a place of authenticity. And what does feminine say when she sees masculine in that space? That is the most confident man I've ever seen. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. What occurs when feminine approaches masculine with healthy energetic boundaries, right? Working through that place of trust, having been wounded by trust, but learning how to trust again, not holding bitterness towards masculine, but utilizing that to set the energetic standards going forward, giving masculine the benefit of the doubt. Masculine looks at feminine and says, that is an incredibly strong person right there, right? Both of these energies recognizing the how much difficulty, how much work it takes to be so peaceful, and identifying and seeing the warrior in one another as they do so. While for the energy right now coming into divine union, this is a lot of this energy that says that work, what they've created with themselves. Like I keep on hearing that energy coming into divine union saying, let no one tear asunder. Right? Why is that energy saying that? Because this is the energy that built their relationship brick by brick. And that's why. And when that like wolf moon howls at it, like when that emotionality howls at it, it's just like the wind against the house of the partnership, right? It's like this is the energy that feels it, and they say, let no one tear it asunder because we built it brick by brick. And like the wolf moon can howl at it as much as they want, it's not going anywhere. Well, for a lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union, I just see a lot of that energy saying, I guess we better get to building. Like, if I don't see it, I guess we got to make it. All right. It's okay. It's fine. No, it's good. It's what you're going to do. Nothing. You know what you're going to do? You're going to do, no, exactly. You're going to like, it's, what are you going to do? Meaning, what are you going to do? Right? When, what are you going to do is the higher self saying to you, what are you going to do? Who am I? Show me who I am. Show me who I am, right? Like that is what it means when we say, what are you going to do? Continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Swords in its reversal in combination with our 10 of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now with the 4 of Wands in its reversal. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. The overarching message we've been getting, the overarching message that we've been getting in the last like week or so has been, it's not ideal. It never is. It never is. Ideal is not, but you have to remember, ideal is what we put, ideal is what we choose to be energetically ideal, right? And so I just keep seeing that a lot of that energy deep within divine union, being able to articulate upon that, being able to express the frustration, not being reactive, right? But letting it further set one's own identification and sense of intentionality, right? Like there's something about that giving shape to something in a profound way. And this is a lot of that energy deep within divine union that builds in that space of not feeling frustrated, right? Because when anything is possible, right? It's not just negative, it's also positive. And this is the energy that says, let that be. Like, let that be the force of change. Let that be the positivity. Let that be the energetic harmony that we create for ourselves and those around us, right? While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union. I just keep seeing that a lot of this energy coming into divine union is amplifying and articulating upon. Like, this is why if they build something brick by brick and another person says, what that? They say, yes, this. Because this is the energy that does not operate from the ego, right? And this is the energy that can recognize when others are. Because when we're building in healthy partnership, we don't operate from the ego, right? We don't operate from that space. It's not that we let go of the ego, because again, the ego is valuable. The ego energetically protects us. But we navigate and recognize the difference between what hurts the ego versus the higher self. And so I just keep seeing a lot of that energy, experiencing that maturation process in potentially experiencing something that would have triggered them like crazy 6 months ago. Not anymore, right? Because again, they built the relationship brick by brick. And now they feel that stability that is amplification of how far they have come. While for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, this is the energy that says, I feel a lot. This is why if these partnerships are coming together now after feeling all of that pull of the past, right? The emotions of the past, pulling someone back to it. This is the energy that has worked in that space of healing, that they don't get their direction clouded by an amplification of emotions. This is the energy that when they feel an amplification of emotions, they don't just move in the direction of the emotions, they listen to what the emotions are asking for. And then they identify whether it feels like it is moving them towards their intention. It's like it's identifying that often the emotions can act like a siren, calling us back to places that are not healthy for us, which is why we set our intention so we can listen to the emotions to identify what they are saying, but not let it change our course or direction. So that's why we see so much of this energy right now, if they're coming together at this time, not navigating directly from the emotions, but finding the bliss between what the emotions desire and the higher self seeks. They find one another, and that is the warrior energy. Continuing to get clarification between our 10 of Pentacles and its upright in combination with our 4 of Cups and its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Page of Swords in its reversal. A lot of this, like, listen, a lot of navigating doubt right now. A lot of navigating fear. A lot of these wounds coming up. We got lots of reverse swords here, right? I told you this is what we were going to expect with some of this Mars retrograde. That's why, again, everybody with Mars placements is like what's gotten into everybody. Because the only ones who are feeling peaceful right now are those with Mars placements, and everyone else is running around like acting like they're Aries because that's how they're feeling right now. Like, all the Aries energy is like, oh, I always feel like there's an army on the hill looming to come over. I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? But we just see even now that being able to navigate that, this is how we find courage. This is why the Aries right now in this experience are navigating it, because they're doing something that they've had to do every day of their lives. Aries always feel like this. Everything is navigating from a space of courage. But that ability of doing so, we don't navigate in a space of courage when we have confidence. We allow our intention to guide us, right? Come what may. Continuing to get clarification between our 5 of Wands in its reversal in combination with our 4 of Wands in its reversal. So, like, again, you know, the thing about this is it feels like a lot of backpedaling right now. These two cards together is like backpedaling energy. One card to clarify. And that's the thing. This is also the backpedal of some of those nostalgic feelings that you may be having right now on the cusp of that Cancer full moon, right? Like memories, like a lot of that kind of stuff. One card to clarify. Emperor in its reversal. Because again, there's something about this here, which is like, I got to tell you, it's like, and I got to stress this right now. There is so much, I got to tell you, there is so much energy here, and it's gonna be, I'm gonna tell you, it's having a different impact on masculine and feminine, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender but what it feels most aligned to. Masculine energy, and this is why it's going to be different on a case-by-case basis here. If you're someone who's typically confident right now, this could be a very difficult time. If you're someone who operates from a space of confidence, if you're navigating this right now, it may be very difficult because, again, courage is something that we do not navigate with when we have confidence, right? But working in that space, setting the intention, this is why a lot of these energies right now in separation are finding oneself, because this is the masculine that says to feminine, consciously or unconsciously, never have I been more brave than I come to you with my armor off. Never am I more brave than when I am vulnerable to you, because I just keep seeing that there's a lot of the masculine energy in separation that is letting go of the illusion of rejection. Remembering that if someone sees you in your authenticity and they don't like what you see, that is a blessing. Because why would you want to move into infinity with someone that you have to put up a mask towards, someone you have to put up a false sense of self with? This is the masculine that says alignment is such that the energy of the feminine that's for me will see this work in progress as a masterpiece. So I come to them in that way, and that ability of their perception helps me see if they are the one for me, right? While for feminine, a lot of the feminine energy working in that space, healing the bonds of trust. And this is the feminine that says, if I take the wounds of trust and I bring them forward, I become just as untrusting as the energy that broke my trust in the first place. This is a feminine that says, I heal, because when I heal, I say, I will not become the thing that hurt me. I will not become like the energy that created that wound. So both of these energies working in that capacity, feeling the vulnerability in the process, which is their greatest strength. While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union, I keep on hearing the same energy, which is, they don't like us, we don't care. They don't like us, we don't care. Why is the energy coming into divine union saying they don't like us, we don't care? They don't mean we don't care. This is the energy that is healed from the space of feeling that they need approval over healthy companionship. This is not the partnership that's coming forward and looking outside of themselves in the process. This is the energy that says we build this because it is best for us, not because we seek others' energetic approval in doing so. So even here, this is why there's this Capricorn energy that's coming into divine union right now, because they're stubborn. They are stubborn. They are stubborn, but in a good way, in a good way, in a good way. We call that tenacity. We call that tenacity. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is the energy that has, it's not tenacity. This is the energy that has the audacity, right? Because this is the energy that says when we work towards our energetic ideals, we have to navigate in a space of being able to stand taller when things are not going in the direction we desire them to, because that's the moment that we say, I look up. I don't look down, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Four of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Page of Swords in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Wheel of Fortune in its upright. And we will be teaching this class. Very excited to teach this class. Will be held on Wednesday, February 19th. At 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. To participate in that class, all you need to do is become a subscriber over on my Substack, graystrega.substack.com. But that's what we see even now. Like, this is what I mean with like the challenge space of, I got to stress this right now. Following your bliss is rarely blissful. Following your bliss is rarely blissful. If you think following your bliss means just doing what feels good, I got some bad news for you. That's your ego. That's your ego. If following your bliss means you're doing only what feels good, that's your ego, right? Bliss is what we do when we're grumpy. Like, bliss is what we do when we're crabby. Bliss is what we do because we grab that bliss and say, come here. Like, right? We have to grab that bliss out of the thin air and say, right? We follow our bliss by finding ourselves. And often we find ourselves, right, by having to step out of our own comfort zone. Because again, if we are moving towards a manifestation goal, we recognize that if there's something that we desire, that it's not about reaching for something outside of ourselves. It's finding something within. It's finding that thing within. So everything we see is about working in that space of, and this is what's happening for a lot of that energy across all of the frequencies, is identifying the qualitative aspect that a good manifestation isn't about what you bring forth, but who you become in the process of moving towards it. So we see that for a lot of that energy right now, deep within divine union, navigating outside of the self, if it's not ideal, this isn't the energy that loses their energetic ideals. This is the energy that says, well, the work's cut out for us. Like, we can see what that path work is. We can identify it. We can recognize it, because it's that sense of remembering that an ideal is a dream that we bring into reality. And this is the energy that, again, remembers that an ideal is never perfect because it's always a bit out of reach, right? And that's why we work in that space of navigating in the direction of what the energetic ideal is. And a lot of that sense of, I want to say, there's a lot of that change that's happening right now. And I feel like a lot of the difficulty that we're experiencing is the stabilization that we would typically experience with Pluto being in Capricorn is not there in the process of navigating a lot of these energetic changes. So I'm going to say it again. If you're working in that space of feeling energetically unstable right now, I want you to focus on grounding. I want you to focus on what creates that sense of balance for you, right? Because again, if you're not feeling it, it's not about faking it until you make it. It's about feeling it until you heal it. And sometimes, some days you don't want to be healing. Some days it stinks to heal. But again, often this is what we mean by following our bliss. It's not what we feel called to do, but that we know will make us feel better in the doing it. A lot of that work right now happening for a lot of the energy deep within divine union. For a lot of the energy coming into the divine union, this is the energy that feels the weight of that, because this is the energy that feels how stable something has become that used to be so unstable. This is the appreciation of the energy looking back and remembering and recalling a time that they didn't feel this stable, a time where they didn't feel that energetic support, potentially even in the partnership itself. But this is why this energy builds into that context of appreciation for what they've created between themselves, because this is the energy that says what we've created is precious, because it's not something that we just conveniently fell into. It's something that we worked hard for. While for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, this is the energy that's looking towards one another and saying, I know my partner, my ideal energetic counterpart, is on the other side of finding that courage within. And I can hear this energy, like I can literally hear some of this energy afraid to step forward right now, because they're like, I feel like the energy saying to themselves, like in separation, they're right out there, aren't they? Like they're right there. Like they're like, this is the energy that's working through the process of saying, as I step forward, I'm closing the chapter of the past, because this is the energy that says, I'm ready. It's just requiring that step forward, right? And I feel like a lot of that energy in separation has the guides on the side being like, yeah, it's just going to take your courage to do so, right? Like, are you going to let something as small as a lack of courage keep you away from finding that energetic counterpart, right? This is the energy that says, I would want my energetic counterpart to be brave. And I see the energy saying, what would my energetic counterpart be doing? like as they navigate some of that internal confusion as it relates to finding the courage to be able to find, like, take that leap forward. Final card for today's spread, between our Emperor in its reversal in combination with our Wheel of Fortune in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Seven of Swords in its reversal. Like, this is the hard thing about so much of this energy right now. It's backpedaling. It's so much of this like backpedaling energy. And I think a lot of it has to do with I just got to stress this right now. Like, I don't know why I'm very curious where Uranus is right now. Because like there's something I gotta put it this way. This is why we navigate and we move from a place of ideal, not trying to change the circumstances around us. Because often, and we talk about this, when we try to move in coordination of a void, like, I got to stress this. And if you've ever driven somewhere, you've had this experience. Have you ever noticed that if you're trying to avoid something, you often like run smack dab into it? Like, it's that chaotic moment, right? There's a lot of this type of energy there. Like when you try to navigate in a space that you aren't able to calibrate from fear in a proper way, you create the energetic fear that you were worried about, right? Like there's a lot of that energy here. Like there's a lot of that energy. And so that's why we're seeing that there's something really important and vital about navigating from a space of ideals. And this has a lot to do with that conversation that we saw, all of this happening because of that shift out of Pluto and Capricorn, which says, just grab for whatever you want. Don't worry about knocking anything over. Just grab for the thing you want. Don't care about who you have to push out of the way. Just grab for the thing you want. It's your journey. It's your journey, right? Imagine how good it'll feel when you have it. Imagine how good it'll feel when you have it. And then you have it and it feels like nothing in your hands. Versus the energy that recognizes and says, when we reach for something, a good manifestation is how we move in the reaching for it. That ability of reaching for something, the harmony that we can create as we strive for something, is the existence, is the purpose of energetic existence. It's not a game of grabbing everything you can and then leaving with the most stuff. It is a journey of how you move. It is a journey of who you become. And that's why we see that for a lot of the energy right now, what is the fear that is holding the energy and separation back? We've got a little bit of a healing issue here. Because I just keep seeing that there's so much energy in separation that has made such positive process over the last, I want to say, 7 months or so. This is the energy that is afraid to step forward into partnership because they're worried about losing their progress, to which I say, you're ready. Those are your standards, babes. If you are suddenly looking at a situation and you're worried about coming into partnership because you appreciate and value your own energy so much that you want to be respective of not damaging your healing, you're not going to. You have become the expression of the energy that is prioritizing their energetic frequency over maintaining a connection. It's not going to happen, but you're going to feel a lot of anxiety as you do so, because that's you shifting into the mindset of someone that is able to recognize the value of a healthy energetic connection. So that's why I see a lot of this energy being like, I'm not ready. And the guides are going, you're so ready, because you don't think you are. Mostly, that's usually when you know you're ready, is not when you feel like you're saying I'm ready. You go, I don't know if I'm ready. That one's ready right there. Yep. That one. Yep. Yes, they're ready. So that's why we see even now there's so much of these warrior partnerships coming through, because this is the energy going, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And the guys are like, they're so ready. They are so ready. Look at them. Yep. That's perfect. Right. Because you're holding your energy sacredly. Right. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, this is the energy that is like in the space of being able to find the stabilization point, much in the same way, because a lot of this is absolutely not. And when I hear absolutely not for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, this is the energy that says, I couldn't go back to that person I used to be if I tried. Right? This is how we sometimes recognize that we've completed an energetic cycle. We look back on something or we see something that we recall and we say, wow, I've come a long way. And this is the energy that like a lot of that progress and path work, I just keep hearing a lot of that energy coming into divine union. And it's focused on the affirmation of never going back. But this is the energy that says never going back because it's a rallying cry, right? It's because it's that sense or space of saying to one another, you can rely on me to always go forward because I don't have that desire to go back. That what we create is only forward, right? And that is the amplification of saying that even if they have those moments that they feel like they step backwards, they know they can fix it because they've already come, like they've already shifted into that space where something that used to be difficult now feels energetically inevitable. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is the energy that, you know, and this is what happens when you're building in a pathwork of purpose. Sometimes things move easily. Sometimes they don't. But when you're building into a pathwork of purpose, you don't do so because something's easier, so something's difficult. One moves forward because you have the ideals and you know that one must. And so I see even now like a lot of that energy, I just keep hearing the energy say that, you know, another person's fickleness does not divert their own energetic focus, right? This is the energy that looks towards others' fickleness with like a sense of disappointment, but it doesn't change their own trajectory. And this is the energy that like, I can almost hear the energy saying, you know, there's a little bit of that bittersweetness that says, what's that word? You know, when things aren't energetically ideal around you, you know, you carry some sorrow for it, but only so much, because sorrow does not bring you towards your ideal. Action does, right? And so I just see like the energy that doesn't feel sorry for themselves in the process, because that is the act of love that they give to one another along the way. Bottom of the deck on this reading, Ace of Swords. You know, I mean, like, you know, here's the thing. When we look around, I need to point this out. When we look around and we say, you know, and this is why we don't, like, there are moments that kind of help us understand and focus upon understanding ourselves deeply. Because and I just keep seeing this energy, it's like, it's not about the situation of something not being ideal. It's a lot of that work in terms of facilitating and recognizing, like I told you, what courage feels like. Courage stinks. It's a hard feeling. When you're being courage, like I guarantee you, anytime you've been courageous, it probably feels like you've been like shaken in your boots, right? Because that's the thing. That's the funny thing about courage. It doesn't feel like courage. What looks like courage doesn't feel like courage. Often, others make something that they feel confident about look courageous, but that's not courage. Real courage is when you stand in the face of your fear, when you confront your fear, right? When you navigate uncertainty. So I see even now there's a lot of this confusion that's still happening. But you can't do this during a Mars retrograde. You can't confuse. I keep on hearing, you can't confuse. You can't masquerade confidence for courage during a Mars retrograde because everybody is feeling like an Aries. And so Aries are really good at being able to tell the difference between courage and confidence. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that energy here right now, right? Like you're doing it wrong, like, or they're doing it right, right? Like it's like there's a lot of that right now. So let that energetic, let that motivation guide you. And again, and I need to stress this, when I say confronting your fear, I do not mean running headfirst into it, right? I mean, like this is what we talk about with shadow work. It doesn't mean you chase after shadows, okay? It means you confront the parts of yourself that you feel the anxiety towards, right? You take that flashlight and you shine it within and you find diamonds there. And so let those energetic ideals guide you, especially if you're in separation right now and you're saying to yourself, you're not ready. I'm guaranteeing you probably are, because you're saying you're not ready. If this is the energy coming into divine union, don't be reactive if someone else is bringing something forth to you that you, like, it's like I can see the energy being like, that hurts my ego, and being like, it's just my ego. This is the energy that doesn't put their power towards the ego. While for a lot of this energy in divine union, this is there's like a lot of this, there's a lot of this protectiveness is what I'm seeing that's happening right now, deep within divine union. But again, a lot of that protectiveness has to do with navigating something energetically precious, right? And this is how the partners love one another, because I see even now, like, that sense of being protective over what another holds as precious is very important during this time. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.substack.com. You can book one on my website, graystrega.substack.com. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. I would also like to let you guys know, thank you so much to those who attended our most recent class on the Hermit. For my paid subscribers who missed the class, it is now available for your viewing pleasure. If you would like to catch that class, you still can. All you need to do is become a paid subscriber to my Substack, graystrega.substack.com. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also gain access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library. You'll also have access to a one-on chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've studied or are currently learning about. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. So I want to thank you if you're already joining us there, and I look forward to seeing you at our next class, which is occurring on Wednesday, February 19th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Wheel of Fortune. It's going to be a big class. It might even be 2 parts. I'm still trying to decide. Finally, I want to let you guys know that even if you don't become a paid subscriber and if you are a subscriber here on TikTok, head over to our subscriber only Discord channel, because there you will find a very special coupon code that will give you an additional discount to that Substack subscription. And I would encourage you to do that sooner rather than later, maybe for some reasons. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for my clients that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. They are focused on whatever area of personal growth or spiritual development you are most invested in improving or learning more about. They can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. And I'm now very happy to offer dream interpretation packages as well. Those can be purchased on an individual level to study one dream at a time, or if you purchase a dream interpretation package, I would encourage you to keep a dream journal. We meet weekly or bi-weekly to assess and read over your dreams. So then utilizing the tarot to understand the symbology and lessons that are coming through in that dream space. I want to thank you guys so much. Also, just a final note today. Again, we know that we are potentially losing the TikTok app tonight. I would deeply encourage you, if you're following me on that channel, to make sure that you're following me across my other social channels. If you head over to my Linktree, you will see all of the places that I am streaming, and I would encourage you, most importantly, to make sure that you are following me on Substack, because there I will be posting newsletter updates as we experience and navigate some of the changes over the next few weeks, to make sure that you know where to find me and where I will be. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful night. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of one another. And we will do this again tomorrow. That is our daily collective read. Congratulations to Michael.